12:15 here in sunny California. Guys, I'm Hunter Kaywood, our head of inside sales here at Century 21 Masters. And today we got a special guest, special session. It's our follow-up Mastermind. And with me is one of my really good dear friends. We actually, kind of been in the inside sales world together for quite a while now. We actually started at well, not started, but we're at the same company in South Carolina for a while. And his name is Travis Halverson. Travis is a overall real estate tech guru. Guy knows, the ins and outs of, kind of the latest technologies in the real estate world. He knows how to put them into as a system, put them into workflows and processes. He's the head of inside sales at Oak and Ocean, which is a high producing team out of South Carolina. Essentially, they have somewhere around 12 to 15 agents, and they're doing well over 200 million in terms of production year in and year out. He's also a big time coach for Keller Williams Canary, and Keller Williams Livian to be specific. Coaches more than 70 plus teams. And so today what we're going to be diving into and talking about is follow up and, like I said, technologies. We're going to be talking about, different so forth. Different type of follow-up techniques and what you can do as an agent to kind of leverage the technology that you have. And well, Travis, I know that's a pretty long-winded introduction. Would you mind maybe kind of was there anything I missed right there? Anything that I should also add?
No, you're good. I appreciate it. No, so I've been in ISA for about 6 years. It's all I've ever done. So full transparency, you guys, I've never sold a house before. So if you guys have sold a home, I kudos to you. That's something I could never do, which is why I went the route of staying inside, which is I feel like I put the inside into inside sales agent. But yeah, no, it's something I've always been passionate about. I love doing it. I'm also a coach. I'm not sure if you guys know who John Cheplack is. I'm also a coach for John Cheplack as well. So Cheplack Digital Coach. And I also am a coach for Easy Home Search, which is a portal over here that we generate a lot of leads for a lot of different companies throughout the world. So yeah, that's basically it. I love
Yeah.
inside sales. Woo!
Awesome, awesome.
It's a
Well,
weird
cool. Well,
thing
hey,
to love.
That's right. That's right. Well, cool. Well, so Travis, like I said, obviously you're also the inside sales, lead and head at Oak and Ocean, and obviously you guys are doing a lot of business. I was kind of curious to maybe start off with, what would you say are some of the major ingredients to your team's success, and as you coach all these 70 plus teams across Livian, what are kind of the major points that you're drilling home for them?
Honestly, just really tripling, quadrupling, however many times you want to think about it on your database. I mean, I'm a big believer in the fact that your database is your business. A lot of times people realize like, oh, I got to lead generate. I have to lead generate. It's like, well, in actuality, if you've been in the business for at least a year or more, you've already probably generated enough leads to where you can be successful. I mean, realistically, follow up with the people that you already have, right? We talk about all the time, just bringing two new leads into your database all the time and just keep following up with those people. So yeah, big believer in that. Database is your business. A lot of times you don't need to worry about it. And the thing is agents don't necessarily need to worry about generating business. They just need to worry about converting the business that they've already gathered. So there's two sides of the coin: generation and conversion. I believe agents should just focus on the conversion side of things.
Okay. Well, cool. And tell me this. I mean, so obviously you work with a lot of new agents and you work with a lot of experienced agents. What's your advice to, new agents who are in their first or second year of business, who maybe not don't already have that jam-packed database we're talking about. Uh, what do you say to them? What's kind of your advice to make them or take them from a rookie to a top producing agent?
Absolutely. Put yourself in front of as many people as you possibly can. Get yourself out there. Be comfortable with being uncomfortable. Um, Record videos, put out content, Facebook, advertise yourself. The thing is people like to joke about a guy out in Florida. His name is Ken Pozek. He has like maybe 2 to 3 thousand viewers on his YouTube channel. But I want you guys to think about that. Those 2 to 3 thousand views on his YouTube channel, that's a database of 2 to 3 thousand people, right? Okay, think about every single one of those views as a potential home buyer or seller or someone that's looking to do some sort of business in the future. The more people that you can get in front of, the better you are as an agent. It's just something that just starts to become a snowball effect. And stay consistent at what you're doing. If you're gonna be a social media guru, or you're gonna put a lot of stuff out there, don't just do it once. Do it multiple times. Do it the next day and the next day. You'll start to see rewards. I know people talk a lot about, oh man, doing the same action over and over again as like the definition of insanity, trying to expect different results. But the thing is, though,
Yeah.
is I mean, if you're getting good results by doing the same exact thing over and over again, why stop?
Like, yeah, no, absolutely. And it's something that goes down to consistency. I tell our agents, you need to be making 30 plus contacts a day. I mean, that's it's that might seem kind of redundant, might seem kind of like some of that stuff that we're doing in the lead generation business is a little bit boring. But that consistency, it turns into reaping a harvest of deals and contacts and relationships. And obviously, real estate is a relationship business. But Travis, okay, so that's the kind of the concept, or that's the idea. Talking from the standpoint of kind of a rookie trying to move up and become a top producing agent. What about those top producing agents who kind of feel like they've already peaked in terms of their production? Kind of feel like I'm already doing 20 million, or I'm already doing 15 million, and I don't see how I can do any more. What's your advice to them? What do you tell those type of agents, and how do you get them to peak above their peak?
Yeah. Um, I'm a big believer in leveraging technology and the things around me. I mean, I think that we talk about it a lot, but there is like AI, for instance. AI is coming into the business, technology is starting to take over, but the agent that starts to utilize AI and leverages it out to give time back in their day is going to be the agent that ends up winning. Ultimately, being using that and something where you've been an agent for a very long time, understand that the game changes. My mom and dad are no longer buying houses, right? Like just full transparency. My mom and dad would love to talk on the phone if you were to call them. If it's a cold call and they've never seen your number pop up, they will answer your phone. Doesn't matter. Me, if you were to cold call me and I don't have your phone number, I will not answer your phone. If you were to send me a text message and say, "Hey, is this Travis?" I'm going to respond. 99% of the time I will respond and say, "Who is this?" Yes, this is Travis. Who is this? Okay, I have a text template that I have sent probably close to 20,000 times, and it has a 84% response rate. And all it says is, just to make sure I had the right number, is this Hunter? Question mark. Okay, that right there has given me so many closings as an ISA just from starting at that. Okay, just because I want to make sure that I have the right number. Even though you can make an argument and say, well, Travis, that's not TCPA violations, blah, 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 blah. It's like, hey, no, they registered on my website. I'm asking them a question if that's the right number. Now they say yes. Okay. So then I go deeper on that and using that stuff. But besides using technology, what I was saying is just changing the way you do things. Don't just do nothing, do something. So send that text message. If you're not comfortable calling a lot, send a text and an email. If you're not comfortable sending text and email, don't think about writing it. Have ChatGPT write it for you. Just say, hey, I need a series of 30 text templates that I could send to clients that potentially might be looking here in my area. Make them friendly, make them nice, make them just come be empathetic if I have to. You know what I mean? I have ChatGPT respond to text messages that I get in my database just because I don't have the time right now. The thing is that it's beneficial for these people where these text messages that are being sent out are 10 times better than I ever would have put into them. Okay. But the thing is, it provides value. And I want everybody to understand, and I've closed 80 PPC leads this year, 80 YLOPO leads I've closed year to date. About 64 of them I never once spoke on the phone as an ISA. I set them up on an appointment via just text and email. The rest, I did actually speak to them on the phone and set an appointment via phone. Okay, so just let that know which route we're going with the generational switch and the people who are buying or selling real estate now. Okay, we're talking
Like,
to more millennials. So,
yeah, no, that's huge. That's huge. I think uh, a lot of times in real estate, we kind of just get used to doing what we've always done. And the thing is, if you always do what you've always done, you'll always get what you've always got. And so, yeah, I've seen that in our own business. We've pivoted, from just being totally 100% call heavy to trying to be all things to all people. And like you said, we got to send those text messages out. Texting is also a form of prospecting.
mm-hmm.
Um, I'm curious, and I like to tell people all the time that you are kind of the Plato of inside sales, and everybody knows Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle. And when it comes to inside sales, we have Robbie T, who was, I guess, a Socrates in this metaphor, who taught you a lot. You're like a Plato, like I said, and I like to think of myself as kind of the Aristotle in this equation. I'm curious though, what is something that you learned like early on in terms of the inside sales, the lead prospect and lead generation world, that has essentially kind of been fundamental for you, and it's been something that has been a game changer for you in terms of your career?
Building a process. I'm a big believer in having a process. Every lead in my database, no matter what it is, has a next step action. Once I really identified that and started to build it out on my own, like whether it was on a piece of paper or a workflow that I had in my head, if I go to any lead in my system and I look at it quickly, I can know what text message they're going to get. I can quickly identify if it needs a phone call. I can quickly identify if it needs an email. Once I start doing that over and over again, it starts to just become a process or a flow, which ultimately helped me develop Canary. Was the fact that I looked at every lead in our database, did the same series of text and email templates. I A/B tested which one's got a good response, which one's got a bad response, changed up messages if I needed to until I had a good structure of messages that stayed at about a 25 to 30% response rate, and just started doing that repetition over and over again. I asked for the path of least resistance. I just said, hey, pick a number between 1 through 4. If they gave me a 4, great. That gave me a lot of information because in the text message, I asked for them to pick a time. I said their name. I told them who I was. I said, I want to know when your real estate plans might look like. If they said number 4, that's great because I now have a good number. I now have the right name and I have permission to follow up in the future because they gave me some sort of motivation by saying number 4. And they're also a decent human because they didn't tell me to F off or not interested. So now I can continuously follow up with them.
Heck yeah. Well, it sounds like that big part of you say it. You can go into your database and you can find someone and know exactly what your next follow up action is. And I think that's one of the things I think I've learned most from you is that database management and organizing the follow up. Can you tell me kind of what that looks like? What does the your database look like? How is it structured? How is it organized? And what are you coaching and telling people in terms of that?
Yeah, absolutely. So I believe that all brand new leads, like PPC leads, top of funnel leads, people that just registered through Google Ads and stuff, should just be going to a virtual partner or an ISA, someone that will chase the lead, someone that will consistently do the 10 days of pain, someone that will follow up with that lead and make sure over the course of 10 days they get 30 actual action items towards them. They get 30 touches. Basically, they get a call, they get a text, they get an email every single day for 10 days straight. And the reason why that name, 10 Days of Pain, it's not just because it's painful for the client, it's painful for the agent that's doing it as well, because the fact that they have to actually do that. My most successful day in the 10 Days of Pain is actually day 6 and day 7. But that's consistent actions that you're doing with those leads. So that's basically the structure in which we believe our database works properly, is to have that stuff go to someone that can do those things constantly and make sure those are being followed up. Then we believe that we should nurture leads on behalf of agents. No agent on my team or within my teams that I coach get leads within 90 days from buying or selling. Or sorry, outside of it. I apologize. They only should be working leads within 90 days of buying or selling real estate. Okay, I don't want agents having to handle these large databases because that's when people start to get missed, opportunities start to get missed. I don't let my agents handle more than 50 people at a time in their actual pipeline. And someone told me something great. His name, he's also with Cheplack. He said, what's a good number for an agent to have in their database? He says, I don't have anybody in my database in my actual name and follow up, boss. I don't have anybody in my name that I don't know their next vacation or their birthday. Everybody I don't know their next vacation and or their birthday is in my assistance database, and she is nurturing my leads for me. Second, we find out their next vacation and birthday, they become mine, and that's when I start to talk to them. Okay, so that's a good standpoint. And he actually sold, I think, 20 million in December.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so
Okay.
it's one of those things. There's no magic number that you guys can put on it. Just understand that there's people in your database. If you have a large database, they're buying or selling without you. That's just going to be facts. So.
But so in that you're also essentially segmenting your data,
Mhm.
or segmenting the database. Is
Yep.
that based off a lot?
Time
Is
frame.
that more time frame?
Yep.
Okay. So and that's one of the most important questions you're asking up front from the get go of an initial conversation. Yeah.
Yep. Basically, what we're really just trying to do, especially with these top of funnel leads, we're really just asking them, hey, when do you think you're looking to make a move? Or when do you think you're looking to do something like this? We're always coming from a place of motivation and trying to find that motivation. So a lot of our LP Mama script is just motivation. Because the thing is, LP Mama is going to come naturally. I don't necessarily need to know what your location, your price, your mortgage, all of that stuff. If I just ask you how you're doing or what your motivation is, I'm going to come from a place of just trying to understand you and build a relationship with you. In my mind, I look at a lead and I look at that lead as that lead also knows 10 or 20 other people. So I look at that lead, not just one, I look at it as 21 people. And then I have in my mind a little bar next to their names that's filling up. I'm filling up the gauge. I'm filling up a percentage of how much I know about that person. I'm asking them what they're looking to do. Perfect, 10%. I get them to reply to a text message. Awesome, 30%. Okay, I get them to do these things. I kind of gamify my system in the sense of I want to understand what's their next big move. And the second I find their timeline or I get to that and they tell me what their time frame is, it's not just the first initial question I ask them, but I make sure I try to grab that. That's when I move them into a correct stage inside a follow-up box, which will then notify me to follow up with them in a specific time based off their buying time frame or
Okay.
selling time frame.
Very cool. And so tell me this. So that makes sense. Timeline really as the kind of the X factor for us in terms of where we put them in our database. But can you give me an idea or a sneak peek of what does that follow-up call look like? Let's say, for example, I have a lead who tells me, yeah, our timeline is maybe 6 to 7 months from now. Right now, we're just getting some ideas to kind of figure out what we want to do. What does that next follow-up call sound like?
Yeah. So basically, how I do it with my system is someone was to tell me they're 6 to 7 months out. I basically have a follow-up plan or a process in which if they come back to the website within a month, I don't actually call them. Okay, if they trigger something in YLOPO, I don't call them. I send them a text message. To me, it's called the not quite ready but still ask text message. Okay, but it's basically just saying, hey, hope you're having a fantastic day. I know you mentioned you're not quite ready to buy or sell real estate just as of yet, but just if you come across a property that might pique your interest or something you want to know more about, don't hesitate to reach out. We're always happy to do virtual tours for you, especially if you're not in the area. Okay, I do that to try to let them know that I'm still here. I'm not trying to push them. I don't ask for a question. I don't say, "Did you like what you looked at?" Or I don't try to let them know that I even know that. I just kind of let them know I'm still here in the background. Now, say they come back in a month later and they're still looking at properties. But if they look at properties a month after I've already done a follow up and I know they're 6 to 7 months out and they're just looking, I want them just to look. The reason why is because these leads that have come to my website, I'm lucky that they came to my website. Because the thing is any educated buyer is going to Zillow or going to realtor.com. Any educated buyer is doing that. The fact that my branded website was the thing that they actually enjoy looking at because they know they can look unbothered. I'm not going to push the sale. I'm not going to actually just, I'm going to just keep making sure that they're looking on my website. I try to build my own portal with the leads in my database. I put them in a fence. I don't let them go outside my fence. The second that they unsubscribe, I actually put them back on a listing alert. I want them to tell me to unsubscribe. I don't want them to just be able to click a button and click unsubscribe. I want them to actually say unsubscribe me so I can ask the question, hey, no problem, we can totally unsubscribe you. Just to double down on this though, you a couple months ago you said you were actually wanting to buy in this area. Did something change? I'm able to ask that question because now I'm able to get an answer as a reason why they unsubscribed. Okay. I've had people tell me, oh my gosh, I actually didn't mean to do that. I meant to do it from someone else. I thought you were them. I say, oh, that's okay. No, I understand. That's why I put people back on listing alerts because I want them to verbally opt out, which is fine. Okay. Sometimes that happens. The thing is, though, is when I have these follow up conversations, it's not a matter to push the points. It's just asking them, hey, what's happening in your life now? I know that your times might have changed. Life comes at you fast. What has you favored in these homes? What has you requesting this property tour? 6 months ago, you said you're going to be about 2 years out. Something changed in your life? I'd love to understand what's happening. You know what I mean? I'm just trying to build a relationship with them. They'll open up the more that they believe that they know you and they understand you.
Okay. Another thing I've heard you talk about and preach about is bringing value when you follow up.
Yep.
Bringing value, not just say, hey, just checking in. Um, can you kind of expound on that a little bit? What does it mean to bring value when you follow up?
Yeah, absolutely. Value ask. I come from a place of that. My mom has taught me it since a long time ago. It's just value ask as a real estate agent or an ISA. You provide two forms of value. It basically gives your sole permission to ask a question. I've tried to provide you two forms of value. I've basically given you a newsletter with all the places that you can visit here in Myrtle Beach. I've tried to give you coupons, or I've tried to give you a pie. I've tried to do something. I've tried to provide value. Now, if you don't mind me asking, what does your timeline look like to make a move, or what does your motivation look like behind the whole searching that you're doing on my website? You know what I mean? Value, ask. It basically gives me permission to ask a question. Some people would say, well, you know, it shouldn't do it. And I'm just like, hey, I get it. That's fine. But that's just from where I believe or where I stem from. It's the same way I also say, I don't necessarily, if I have a conversation with a lead and I'm talking to them via text and email, I don't just automatically call them. I don't just reach out during the middle of the text conversation. I take that conversation as deep as I possibly can via text and email because I think about the way that these leads talk to us is their love language. Text, email, call. If they want to talk via call, great. I'll only call that lead. If they want to just keep texting, I'm going to text them until they don't want to text anymore. Now, if they start to go me, I'll change my method and I might go email and I'll go phone call. But if she just wants to text or he just wants to email the whole time, perfect. Just keep it going until I can get nowhere else. So I just take their language the way they want to take it.
Yeah, very cool. And another quote of yours is, "There's no such thing as a bad lead. There's only bad follow-up." Can you also kind of tell me what you think about that? What does that mean exactly?
Yeah, so there is out of all the teams that I manage and all the databases that I look at, there is one statistic that actually equals being a top producer on the team. Out of all agents that I talk to and all the teams that use their databases and actually log their calls, put their stuff in their system, the one statistic that each top agent on that team has is average attempts per lead. Average attempts per lead. Every agent, the agent on my team, she's number one when it comes to average attempts per lead. I think it's like 27, was it 27.42? I just wrote it down the other day. 27.42. She does that many attempts per lead in her database. Okay, and here's the funny part. It's not a matter of what they're doing. It's just the amount of leads. It's just the amount of attempts she's doing. Her average attempt per lead is 1.5 phone calls per lead, 1.5 emails per lead, and the rest are text messages. Every single time she reaches out via text, she doesn't just reach out saying, hey, if you saw a property, let me know what you think. Every single text message, so basically it comes down to about 25 text messages. 25 text messages attempts, every single lead has a link to a property. Every single one. Just says, hey, was thinking about you. Just wanted to know. Let me know what you think about this. And sends a link to a property. Or, hey, stumbled across this the other day. Thought about you. Let me know what you think. Sends a link to a property. That's what she does. Because the thing is they're either going to tell her no or they're going to tell her yes. That's all they're getting. Okay. And they say, oh, we're not buying anymore. Perfect. That's all I needed to know. She'll do that until they tell her no. But guess what? They're not going to buy if she knows they're not going to buy. If she's done her follow up on these leads, she'll know they're not going to buy without her. Okay, so that's what I mean when I say there's no such thing as a bad lead, just bad follow up. These leads will buy or sell real estate. Every single person you probably have in your database will buy or sell real estate. Okay, that's just the take you need to look at. Yes, there's going to be those people that just don't buy homes for the rest of their lives or their entire lives, but more so than not, there's going to be people that buy homes. So just always look at it that way as the fact that whether it's today or 50 years from now, those people will purchase something.
That's right. That's right. No, and I like the metaphor. To some degree, a lot of buyers are like sheep, and if you're not keeping them in your pen, if you're not following up with them and staying on top of them, they're going to wander off. Especially if we're talking about buyer leads, and even the same case as seller leads. Neil was one of our top coaches here was talking about how. There's a statistic out there that only around 20% of sellers use the same agent that they purchased with or that they sold with previous to this.
Can I
And
show you
so,
something real fast? Now that you
yeah,
say that, because that is actually it's great. Is I was actually this right here is actually was funny. Would I do this? Can I do this real fast? Yeah, this. So I was actually gonna
sure.
say this. Problem. 20 to 25% of buyers do not use the same agent twice in their next purchase. So great job. Neil's absolutely correct on that.
That's right. That's right. Um, but yeah. Okay, so going forward from that, One thing that's been on everyone's mind, obviously you're a big follow-up boss evangelist, and you use it you use it for your team. All the teams that are you're coaching are using follow-up boss. Big news from last week was the Zillow acquisition of follow-up boss, and I can't tell you, I had maybe like 100 agents reach out to me this week, and prior to the acquisition, asking, Hunter, what does this mean? What do you think about this? And well, anyways, I would love to hear from a fellow follow-up boss evangelist. What are your thoughts on the acquisition? Is it something, do you have any insights? What do you think it means for everyone?
Zillow converts at a 5%. Zillow converts all leads at 5%. If Zillow can push their conversion up 2%, this makes this entire deal profitable. They basically gave them $500 million to purchase the entire, so full takeover, right? Which is fantastic. It's great for the platform because the platform is a great platform already. The thing is, though, is Zillow has 220 million users monthly. 220 million users monthly. So it's almost ridiculous to say that they don't already have your data. We've all used Zillow before. We've already gone there and we've looked at it. The thing is Zillow is a publicly traded company, and the fact is that they have things that they have to abide by. I have friends that have built things out inside of Zillow. I'm really close with their head engineer. She looks at this is the greatest thing that could have happened to her. She looks at this as the fact that they're going to be able to expedite a lot of their projects that they've been working on because now they have funding. They have funding for a lot of the things like automations 2.0. They have a lot of things where they can actually start to build it out to help the agent. Yeah, I know a lot of people look at Zillow as if it's the enemy, and I understand that. I 100% do. And the thing is, though, is realistically, I work closely. The president of my company and the senior vice president of revenue both came from Zillow. Our president actually created Zillow Concierge, and our senior vice president of revenue actually he was one that changed their entire sales process to their new sales process. Zillow stealing our data is a 15-year-old objection. The thing is they already have your data. Anybody understands what cookies are, they already have your data. You've all gone on it before. Okay, it's fine. The thing is don't worry about it. As long as you don't focus on that, just sell houses because excuses don't sell houses. So don't let that be an excuse as to why you can't sell houses. So just understand that. That's my
Heck
two
yeah,
cents on it.
very cool. No, and I said a lot of the same stuff right there. I think this actually presents bigger opportunities for us, those of us who are big Follow Up Boss users, is Follow Up Boss just got a huge flush of cash, so to speak, to spend on research and development. And big things that we've been talking about are waiting for in terms of Follow Up Boss features. For example, the introduction of AI and note taking and these new integrations with various platforms, even like for example like Calendly and so forth. Those sort of things can happen a lot faster now.
Yeah,
Now that Follow Up
and
Boss has that.
and to make
Yeah.
another point on that is Dan Corkle. If you guys had to think about it, Dan Corkle is probably one of the most genuine people I've ever met, and he's the creator of Follow Boss, creator and founder of Follow Boss. Just two guys in Australia, just Dan and Tom. Obviously, they have other
That's right.
investors and stuff, but obviously if anybody offered me $500 million, well, $250 million split between the two of them, anybody would take that, right? The
Of
thing is,
course.
though, is what it comes down to is they're still on board, and I believe that they are actually doing what's right for the agent. Dan very much comes from the place of real estate agents. He's going to be the voice. Zillow's never had that inside of their world as the voice for agents. Now you have someone like Dan who created this amazing CRM that's going to be doing great things for people. So we're going to see a lot of good things, I believe, that come out of that. So,
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
and also I did
Um,
ask Dan if we get free leads with Follow Boss from Zillow. He hasn't confirmed that or denied that. So
yeah.
free Zillow leads with
Uh,
every FUB subscription. You know what I mean? That'd be amazing.
I,
But I just
I know
we'll see.
that would be the absolute cherry on top of this this partnership, this acquisition, essentially. Um, Heck yeah, well, very cool. Well, and so obviously that's Follow Up Boss. But tell me this: what other technologies are you and your team leveraging? What technologies are you excited about, and what technologies do you think are changing the real estate market as we speak right now?
Yeah, Fellow's a big thing right now. If you guys have heard of Fellow before, Fellow is pretty big for sellers. That's something that's just like a different type of platform and integrates in with Follow Boss. We use texting Betty and call action at a high level. We big believers in speed to lead and speed to response. Making sure that that stuff is something that you need. Um, Yeah, leveraging follow boss at a high level. That's really the only technology we use. We try not to get the whole shiny object syndrome. We try to keep it very simple and just keep it to selling houses. We believe that talk to more people, sell more homes, make more money. That's all it comes down to.
Okay. Can you tell us a little bit more about Text and Betty?
Yeah, Texting Buddy is just a automated platform that integrates with Follow Boss. It allows you to text leads quickly, efficiently. It goes in with Twilio and it automates the process. Speed to lead, huge.
Yeah, essentially. Yeah, and so what I understand about Text and Betty is essentially you can take a Text and Betty. One thing that's kind of lacking right now in Follow Boss is the action plans. You can't schedule text messages, and Text and Betty basically solves that problem. All right.
Yep, it's true,
Exactly. So,
100%.
so, instead of having to, wait for wait for a task to remind you to text and having to spend, 30 seconds over and over and over and over again for the rest of eternity, you can implement Text and Betty. It's something like $100 a month, but and you, I mean, your team's seen a lot of success from it. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it's huge to have because the thing is a lot of the times when you come into your database, you kind of want to work your system as if it would be an incoming lead generation source instead of outgoing. Nobody likes to outbound call. Nobody likes to do any of that stuff. The more the more inbound contacts you can make, the better. I feel like that's just something efficiently that people are starting to utilize and starting to understand that that's the way of the game. So,
Okay. Tell me this. One thing that is also happening right now is I'm not sure if you've been following that the big lawsuit, antitrust lawsuit with
oh yeah.
with all the major brokerages essentially. Um, and one thing that we've been talking about here at Century 21 Masters is that a lot of our agents, if they're not already, need to think about pivoting and becoming, focusing on sellers. What are your thoughts on, do you think that antitrust um, lawsuit's going to have a big impact on the real estate market? And what do you think about kind of leveraging, our real estate agents and being a real estate agent, uh, looking, 10, 15 years from now? What does that have to look like to be successful?
I think that the more value that you provide as an agent, there's going to be no question about if you did your job or you deserve your commission in a sense. I mean, that's where I come from. Like I said, I've never sold a house before, so I won't speak on that. I just believe that agents already provide value and provide a lot of value. And the thing is, they're not just glorified door openers. Like, you know what I mean? That's what a lot of people really do. But um, yeah, I totally believe that you guys provide value and just needs to show it. The people that aren't afraid to provide value and the people that are able to really step into that role and embrace the fact that they're here to not only just sell a home and people that aren't just a commission check, they're here to change lives. And I think that's what a lot of people that are still career real estate agents really do. So I love that. So as long as you do that, there's going to be no question about what value you provide.
Okay, very cool. Are you personally coaching or pushing the agents that that you coach towards being more listing agents, or are you still essentially very focused on building out buyer opportunities as well?
I believe every buyer is a seller. I believe every seller is a buyer. Everything I say, you just go to people, find out what their motivation is, why you're talking to them, understand what their wants, interests, and needs are, so what their wins are, and then understand how you approach it. You know what I mean? I'm not asking them to target anybody. I just want them to talk to people, have conversations, get into real conversations, have real estate conversations.
That's right. Real estate's a contact sport.
Yes, it is.
Scott Trimbley taught me that.
Oh yeah.
Very very cool. Very cool. Well, cool, guys. I think we have about maybe 10 to 12 minutes left. If you guys would like, we can open up to a kind of a Q&A session. Um, feel free to drop your messages in the chat, and we can essentially take those questions from there. But yeah, let's give a couple people or give people a couple minutes or a couple seconds to maybe drop their questions in the chat to pick your brain a little bit. In the meantime, what I want you to drive or draw your attention to is we have dropped Travis's Instagram and his podcast link into the meeting chat so that you guys can click. Make sure to like and subscribe. Travis, would you mind maybe telling us a little bit about the podcast, the conversion code? What is that? What are you guys talking about on a weekly basis?
We talk about conversion. Yeah, we talk about. Sorry, I got someone's asking for an appointment, so I was looking over here. Yeah, we talk about just converting leads in the podcast. Really, it's called the conversion code. We talk about what the things you need to do. We try to give action items to agents on to convert leads more. As I always say, I mean, I'm not the person that's got to close the deal. We just want to generate opportunities. I want to get agents away from the roller coaster of real estate, where they go from 5 contracts to maybe 0 contracts or 1 contract to then 5 again. You know what I mean? It happens monthly because a lot of the times when they're so focused on getting those contracts 1 month, their lead generation or their follow up gets hit. You know what I mean? So at that point, what can we do or what things can we do to be put in place to help them out? So yeah, that's one of those things for sure that we've always tried to focus on in the podcast.
Okay, guys, I highly recommend it if you're not listening to it already. I know we've done a lot of promoting it across our Telegram channels, but if you're not listening to it yet, guys, it is absolutely worth your time to make yourself a better agent. All right, so I got a first question from Lupe asking, what do you do exactly with those non-responsive leads? Do you delete them from Follow Up Boss, or what's kind of your approach with people who ghost and go unresponsive?
Um, as I was always saying, no such thing as a bad lead, just bad follow-up. I mean, if they're unresponsive, I try to get creative. Maybe I hit them up with my cell phone number if they've gone a certain amount of time, or if they were responsive, then I try them from a different phone number and just ask them the simple question is this no longer first name? Now, if they say yes, then I know that they're ignoring me on my other phone. So then it's up to you to kind of take a different approach and say like, hey, I don't mean to be, are you still looking for homes in my area? You know what I mean? Like ask them the question again and just double down. Sometimes people forget. I get it a lot. Sometimes people maybe deleted the conversation before they saved your number. Happens. They might not know how to get a hold of you again. Okay, so it's just take a different approach. I mean, they're unresponsive for a reason. Either they're ignoring you or they just don't remember how to get a hold of you.
Yeah, absolutely. And Lupe, just to kind of piggyback off what he said, you have your follow-up boss number and you have your personal cell phone number. You can use both. Essentially, text them from that different number, text from that follow-up boss number if you haven't texted them from the follow-up boss number yet, or text them from your personal number. Try to kind of maximize the different routes that you can take to get in touch with them. Looks like we got a couple other questions. From Mark, we have, I like what you said, real estate conversations. Do you have a source scripts on your site that you would guide into the depth of conversations and conversion? Do you have
Uh,
any type of scripts that would be
So not that
worth
are out
sharing?
like not that are like out in the world. I do know there's some action plans in the action plan library that I take a lot of the stuff from the follow up boss stuff. My systems and processes, I did this at FubCon, but I'll put it in here. This link here actually gives like my process in which what canary is and the things that it does and stuff like that. So it kind of shows you like an in-depth look of what it looks like for our system and our teams that we coach and what our teams look like. Um, but yeah, so no, yeah, it's actually 30 touches in the first 60 days you get a lead. No, it's basically 10 days of pain. So it's 30 touches, call, text, email for the first 10 days. So 30
Mhm.
touches over the course of 10 days. This is what they get in the
Yeah.
first 10 days. So
Yeah. And guys, just so you know, we have for those of you who are in our company and using the using Follow Up Boss within our company, we have the 10 days of pain action plan. All you have to do is go onto the right hand side of the leads Follow Up Boss profile, go to action plans, type in 10 days of pain, and you can fire that off as well. And it's basically gonna remind you every single day for 10 days to reach out, but it's gonna send 10 days of emails that have been personalized for Century 21 Masters. So yeah, Travis is the brains behind that. And it's absolutely it's a game changer. It's a big reason our inside sales department has been able to generate so many leads. Robert had a follow-up question to that. What about after 10 days? What is the follow-up plan? Example, do they get email weekly, call every 2 months, or anything systematized like that?
yeah, so if it's a PPC lead, we think that the lead should kind of give some time to kind of cultivate. We don't want to go 10 days of pain into another 10 days of pain into another 10 days of pain. We want to give it some time to kind of like just look. They came to your website just to look. Be grateful that they're on your website looking. You know what I mean? That's what I always try and look like. Come from a place of that. As long as they're on your website, you get them. You know what I mean? As long as they're on your website, if they see something they love, they're obviously not going to Zillow or not going to another portal. So just keep them coming back. Keep providing value so they keep coming back to your website. So I usually wait for about 30 days or so after the 10 days, and then I approach them again with a different question. Like, hey, I know you're just looking. I don't want to keep bothering you. Just pick a number between 1 through 4. Let me know what you might be looking to do. And I just take it at different stances.
Heck yeah, very cool. Very cool. Guys, we have any other questions? Anything else you guys want to throw at Travis?
Hunter, I can't type as fast as I talk, so I'm just going to mute myself. I want to follow up just on that. What you said when you said send them something different and said, "Hey, which one do you prefer, 1 through 4?" Are you saying like, "Hey, number one is you're still interested in buying a house. Number two, you're 2 months away. Number three, you're a year away, or number four, you're not?" Is that kind of like, are you
Yeah,
giving them
yeah,
the
yeah.
options of where they're at?
Giving them an option. I'm basically giving them 4 different options to just pick a number. Most of the time, they'll just path of least resistance, go with 4. But like I said, giving me 4 is better than just ghosting me the whole time because now I know that they're a real person. I have the right number, so now it gives me a different approach on them.
Got it. Okay, cool. Thank you.
Yep, for sure.
Yeah. Travis, would you mind if I actually I have that template? Would you mind if I dropped it in the chat for everyone to take a look at?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, yeah. So here's an example of what that looks like. This version has 5 options, but there's obviously you can eliminate one of those options if you'd like Travis said, make it a little bit more simple. But and then what's great about that is and I know Travis does this as well. Essentially, someone answers, writes back, 3 or 4 or 5 or 1. You immediately, essentially, the idea from there is you immediately put them in the right stage from there that would basically organize and inform your follow up from there. But yeah, cool stuff. Cool
So
stuff. Let's
so
see.
Hunter, give me an example. So let's say they give number four on the what you just said, 6 months to a year from now. What's the follow-up plan with somebody like that?
So I can talk about it, and then Travis can answer. But so for us in our follow-up boss database, we have a stage, and for that it would be for number 4. It's 6 months to a year from now. That basically puts them in a watch stage. That watch stage, what's going to happen is it's going to trigger a follow-up task for us once a month. So we're going to be following up with them for once a month up into the point that they're essentially getting closer to being ready to buy or sell. Now, what I will also do, and what I also suggest is, if they gave you a concrete timeline, they said, "Hey, okay, give me a call. I'm going to be looking come, early spring or late spring, early summer of this upcoming year." Great. What I'll go ahead and do is I'll put another manual task reminder for myself in Follow Up Boss around that timeline that tells me, "Hey, this is the point where that we need to switch them from a watch to a hot." Until we need, like, if they haven't responded to me or haven't given me any type of updates in 6 months of me following up once a month, uh, when that next when that I guess that time period comes, I have to set that manual task that says they should be looking now. Then I'm going hot, switching them to hot essentially, and calling them once every 2 days for a week or two until we get them in. Figure out what their timeline is, see if anything changed, set an appointment, or if they said, "Hey, we've put things off again." Then based off what they told me, we're putting it off for another 6 months. Cool, moving you back to a watch stage. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and then so when they're on that one once a month contact, you're contacting them from their preferred method, right? So
Uh,
that once a month contact, if they had said initially, "I love text messages," then they're getting a text message every month. If they said email, they're getting an email every month, right? It's not that's how
yeah,
you're reaching out to them.
Yeah, and if they don't
that's.
reply to me on that method, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Hunter, but I was
Oh,
just
go
gonna
ahead.
say if they don't, yeah, if they texted me and that's how I got their follow-up plan and that's the plan I have in place, next time I reach out to them, I'm gonna use that same method, that which I reached out to them. Now, if I go again and next time I reach out to them again, use that same method, they don't reply, then I'll maybe go to email. And if they don't reply to either of those, then I'll probably go to call, or I'll go call first and then email. But like I said, I'll give them the chance to keep the conversation going, which is the way they wanted to talk.
Heck yeah, absolutely. It looks like Amanda had a question. I usually ask when I first make the contact, what method of contact would you prefer? Well, yeah, and absolutely. That's what we were kind of hinted at earlier. That's really kind of what you want to do is you want to identify, is this person a call person, a text person, or an email person, and speak the language, be all things to all people. One thing I would suggest, guys, I see a lot of agents make this mistake or just do this, and I think it actually lowers their chance or lowers their text response rate. Is a lot of real estate agents will send a text message in the format of an email. And they'll put in like the hey, introduction, and then bam, and then they click a signature at the bottom. And that I understand that kind of want to look professional, but in a lot of ways text messaging itself is not it's not a formal way of communication. People don't like to see long, big text messages. If they that's the big reason they don't do email. The big reason they're not email people. They're text people. They want quick, short questions or like quick, short communication. They don't want to read novels, and so that's one thing I highly suggest. And when it comes to texting and following up, is I like to do the 2-tap method or the three tap message method. What I'm doing with that is, and I got this idea essentially from Travis, is I send one quick short text message with a follow-up question, and so the idea behind that is, one, it notifies them, and two, it notifies them twice. So and it's quick and it's easy. It's not overwhelming them. They're not having to read a novel from me. But yeah, I don't know, Travis, you have anything to add to that, or you have another 2-tap method when it comes to calling. You want to talk about that?
Yeah, so a lot of the times what I'll do is like I talk about this a lot. I never deviate from the process that I've built just because I've seen success with it. So it's like I will send a text message, then an email, then a text message and an email, then a text message. And if they don't reply back to any of that, then I call them 3 times. And my cadence is I call them once, they don't answer, great. That's fine. I'll call them again, let it ring once or twice, and then I will personally hang up. And then I'll call them again, and then I'll leave a voicemail. But I'd probably say I have like a 75% answer rate on the third call. If you call them three
Heck yeah.
times back to back to back.
Heck yeah. Amanda asked, do you have yeah. Yeah, Amanda, Travis will call 3 times in a row. He will triple tap, so to speak. And a lot of people are scared of like, oh, what are aren't they going to be mad or annoyed? Travis has always said and always taught me, just be like, oh no, I didn't mean to call
It
you
only
three
rang
times.
it only rang twice for me, so I don't know. That's
That's
weird.
right. Yeah.
Super
So, but
strange.
by the way, were you looking at doing something in terms of real estate?
Yeah, did
You
you
can,
see
it's
those properties you favorited? What did you think about those? Like what properties?
exactly,
Really? You don't remember?
exactly, exactly. It's only awkward if you make it awkward. You can play it off. You can make it as smooth as you want. It's just about kind of being,
Exactly.
just being comfortable. If you're comfortable, the other person's going to be comfortable. We are totally social animals. We reflect the emotions. We reflect the tone of voice. So, you just smile and dial and answer the phone and say what you're saying in a positive way. People are going to respond back with positivity.
Oh yeah.
Um, heck yeah. Uh, cool. Jake asked a question. Do you have a favorite mastermind group or groups that you follow? I guess he might be I guess indicating or noting maybe like
Anybody
Facebook
anybody in
groups.
the
That's a
Cheplack community? I mean, realistically, a lot of the people that he coach and train are people that are just top CEOs, top people, top sales people that just do a lot of stuff, and they're a lot of the no BS type stuff. They don't make a lot of excuses for things. They just very much hold each other accountable, very accountable people. So all they care about is selling homes, not about the fluff. So anybody with a part of that Cheplack Live, Cheplack Digital community.
yeah. Heck yeah. Um, Amanda, yeah, I think I skipped your question. You asked, should I do that with should I triple tap or double tap with my FUB number, then my personal, and then my FUB again? I don't think I don't think it really matters. I think you can do it, 3 times with your follow up boss number, and as long as you play it off well, and have a positive voice when you call or when they pick up the phone. I think you're gonna have a chance at converting. Um, you also had Amanda. You also had a quick question about the like a double tap text message. Let me show you what that would look like. And I got this idea from Travis. But so here's like the first message I would send, and here's the quick text message I would. And these templates are available for you guys in our follow up boss. But that would be my double tap. For example, someone who told me they were going to hold off on the house hunting process, And anyways, those templates and that concept, you can go to our text templates, email templates, but the text templates, they're going to be under the folder Hunter's Follow-Up Stack, available to everyone. And like I said, I got this concept from Travis, and it's I think it's a huge game changer. All the text templates in that are basically built in a way to be double or triple taps. Or, for example, there's that one template talking about a timeline. Hey, what's your timeline? 1, 2, 3, 4. All of those are there. Let's see, guys. Oh, it looks like we're actually running out of time.
We have an iPhone question.
Yeah.
Who's the iPhone question? Who's the iPhone?
Where's the iPhone question?
Top left. Oh man, I don't know.
I don't see the iPhone question.
Someone raised their hand. That's all I know. So
I see.
No, never mind. She didn't mean to.
Okay. Well, cool, guys. Well, like I said, I think we're a little bit out of time, and Travis has been very generous with his time, so I don't want to overuse his generosity. But Travis, thanks so much for tuning in or coming in and talking with us today. I think everybody got a lot out of it. And everyone, please take some time, go check out that Conversion Code podcast. You're going to be glad you did. But yeah, Travis, thank you once more. It's always a pleasure, brother.
Of course. Always here if you guys need anything. Appreciate it.
Awesome.
Bye.
Good job, Hunter.
Thanks, Hunter. That was great.
Heck yeah.
Thanks,
Cool,
Hunter.
guys. Thank you guys for tuning in. It means a whole lot to me. And we'll be back here same time next week, 12:15 Pacific.
So Hunter, if you don't mind, what were some people's biggest takeaways from what he said?
Oh yeah, let's do it.
Well, I thought it
Keep
was
calling
great.
people.
The 3 calls.
Angie, nobody wants to do
times.
that. And what else you got, Angie? Nobody else wants to do that.
Keep reaching out to people.
Okay, that's better.
Value, ask a question.
There
Don't
you
give
go.
up.
Don't give up.
Don't be afraid of no.
People in your pipeline know their vacation date and their birthday.
And their birthday. Very
Mhm.
important. That's interesting.
Yeah. Yep.
What
So-
was the attempt on average again? There was 1.5 phone calls, 1.5 emails, and the other 25 are text messages, right?
Yep. That's one of his top performers on his team. That's what they're doing. It's their average.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think
And,
it's one of the important things that I wrote down there is it's really important that you ask people their preferred contact method. And because
Yes.
I've been saying this for years, because I'll tell you what, I'm a phone call guy. So when I'm in the middle of a business transaction, you text me, I get annoyed. Because, I'm spending a lot of money on a house or selling a house, and I want a phone call. So you need to know that. And we have agents in the company that don't want phone call, are not on our phone call list or our text list. They only want emails from the company. So
Mhm.
it's really important that you understand their preferred method. But what I wrote down underneath that, for good news and bad news. Because what tends to happen is we'll make the phone call when the appraisal comes in perfect and the text message when the appraisal doesn't.
Or the other way around.
So if their preferred method is phone call, good or bad is a phone call. Okay, so very, very important. All right, what else? What else did we get out of that?
Oh. It's
So-
too much. It's too much
Was I-
information.
Oh, I was just gonna say it was overwhelming.
It was
It said build a
overwhelming.
process.
So here's another thing that I think is really important in terms of a real estate agent, because we talk about this all the time. In your cell phone, there are probably 3 or 4 people that are going to buy or sell a home this year. But every single person in that phone knows 3 or 4 people that are going to buy or sell a home this year. And so that kind of went to what he was talking about. There's no such thing as a bad lead, just bad follow-up. That person, that lead you got may never, ever buy or sell a house. But that doesn't mean they won't refer you business. So the quality of staying in touch with them, the quality of asking them questions, the quality of providing value is going to get you the referrals. It's about who they know. And I think what he said, and Hunter, correct me if I'm wrong, is that he looks at every person as 21 contact is technically 21 contacts.
Oh,
Because he wants it's the contact plus 20 other people they know.
For sure.
Right? That's what he said, right?
Exactly. Yep.
So look at every contact as, if I provide enough value to this one contact, I'm really providing value to potentially 21 people, because it's them and the top 20 people in their life. So interesting way of looking at things.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, guys, the other thing I wanted to add, just so you know, a lot of the stuff that he's talking about is already built into our Follow Boss. So basically, so Travis has essentially been my coach since I moved from doing inside sales and IT to doing inside sales and real estate. He's been essentially my coach, my mentor, and so everything that you see in our Follow Boss, the way that we've built the stages, the way the action, some of the action plans we have, we already have the 10 days of pain. You can take advantage of that. That's available to you. A lot of the text templates, all of that is already in there. It's at your disposal. It's essentially just you essentially going in there and figuring out how you want to take advantage of it. But yeah, no, guys, I think all of you are in a great spot to kind of leverage a lot of stuff he said today. It's just a matter of kind of going out and doing it, learning, listening to something, and then taking it into the action, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
I have one last question. Can we send out a group text where the other members of the group can't see each other, like CC when it's a text?
what?
Not for text message. It's not
No,
possible.
you can't do that. You cannot do that in Follow Up Boss. There are services that you can do that with, but not through Follow Up Boss. There's things like group text. You go online, you search group text. Essentially, what he was talking about is you could pay for a service that you could send a text message out to everyone in your database, but the way they receive it is that they're the only ones that receive it. So it's not like, if I was going to try to send a text message to everyone on this screen, it would be a group chat essentially.
Right.
So sending out a text message in bulk where they see it as only individual to them, yeah, you have to pay for a service to do that. They exist, but yeah, it's just something you have to pay for.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, we have those. We use those services in the company. You see those. Sometimes you'll see a text message. It'll be, "Hey from Robert. Hey from Randy," and it's just that's a text message service that we use.
Okay. Well, that's
But
where I got
most
it
of
from. I
those
said, how did you do
services,
that?
you can't use. They don't use your cell phone number. So make sure that if you are going to do a group text platform, just understand it's not going to come from your cell phone number. It's going to come from a different phone number. So you just have to make sure you identify who you are in the text message.
Thank you.
Heck yeah. Speaking of which, guys, one thing that I talked to our Wailopo rep this past week, and she does a lot of analytics, and she's also kind of in this world of prospecting and so forth. Well, she came across a statistic that's showing that a lot of teams who are sending their virtual card first, their VC card, they're seeing about a 80% higher response rate and to text messages. So basically, the idea in Follow Up Boss, you guys know there's a V card. You can edit and change your V card. It's in the settings section in the top right corner of your Follow Up Boss. But you can go into it and I'll show you. Let me just demonstrate it because I know some of you.
You know what, Hunter? You're absolutely correct, because I've been sending my V card ever since I corrected it, and I am getting response. They are responding.
Heck yeah, I love it.
Yep.
So,
Yeah.
but guys, just let me demonstrate on Robert real quick. I'll send Robert a couple text messages. I just show you guys what this looks like. What you do essentially is you go to text, and then down right here, there's a little
You're not sharing your
icon
screen. Hunter, you're
I'm
not sharing
sharing
your screen.
Oh, my bad.
There you go.
I forgot that I wasn't. Cool. All right, so now I'm sharing it. You guys can here. There's a little icon down here at the bottom right. It's called Attach V Card. click on this, like me, for example. It'll load, takes 10 seconds. And then I send that text message. And then I send whatever I wanted to say, while back, bam, by any chance. Those are my 2 taps. It turns into a triple tap because I'm sending the V card, but he gets that. He knows exactly
You
who's
owe me
texting
30 cents.
What, you don't have unlimited? What are you talking about?
Hunter, open up your V card.
Yeah. Give me 1 second. Pull that up.
Robert has to open it, yeah.
And I need to pull over to the screen. And here it is. If you guys can see it. Bam, that's what they see.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yep. Bam. Just like that, guys. Cool. Real quickly, just because not everyone is still knows how to use the V card. Go to your settings section over here, top right corner. It's the first thing you see, edit card details. And you can edit it here. The one thing, I know a lot of you guys are not based out of the Marietta office. That's okay. What you do is you click on this little eye icon, toggle, you turn it off, and then you add your, for example, Long Beach address or Corona or Covina address right here. So that's how you do that. Everything else should be self-explanatory. Click Save Changes up here at the top right corner. Bam, you're good to go. All right. Well, guys, I know that was a little bit longer of a session, but thanks for tuning in. I hope it was really valuable for you. We'll be back here same time next week. And if you guys like this format, I think what I'll do is try to maybe host more masterminds like this. There's another guy I would like to interview. His name's Ryan Netter. He's also part of that Conversion Code podcast. He comes from the YLOPO world, and he's coached a lot of teams in terms of prospecting, lead generation, that sort of stuff. So I think he'd also be a great mind to pick his brain. But yeah, guys, that's it. If you guys need me, you know where to find me, and I'll look forward to seeing you guys next week. Okay.